75 years ago today, a book was published that left a huge mark on British literature, culture, and society. As a novel, its themes and considerations are taught in schools across the world, while its enduring relevance means it's still regularly referenced in politics and the press. Written as a warning for the future, that book is, of course, 1984 by George Orwell.
Since Donald Trump's inauguration last week, sales have spiked. Sales are up 9,500% since last Friday.
In Ivanova, this is the George Orwell Library, an oasis of free thought in an increasingly repressive Russia.
The University of Northampton don't seem to have got the message. They've issued a trigger warning for the novel on the grounds that it contains explicit material that some students may find offensive and upsetting.
The book is about a character named Winston Smith, who lives in a dystopian society controlled by a totalitarian party and its leader, Big Brother. Winston works altering historical records to match the party's propaganda in the Ministry of Truth. He secretly hates the party and starts a forbidden romance with Julia. They dream of rebellion, but are caught, tortured, and brainwashed. Behind me is Senate House Library. Orwell's wife worked here during the war, and the building became the inspiration for the Ministry of Truth in the book. What is so deeply concerning is that a piece of political fiction intended to guard against a nightmarish future, many of the dystopian predictions Orwell made are coming true. So to mark 75 years since 1984 was published, here are 5 predictions Orwell made that seem all too familiar today. Number 5, the telescreen. In 1984, everyone is required to have a television set in their home, which, as well as pumping out state propaganda, also watches and listens to their every move. There was, of course, no way of knowing whether you were being watched at any given moment. Today, you're watched by a vast network of intelligent surveillance systems. You're tracked by your personal devices, monitored by social media platforms, and targeted by invasive corporations. You may not know their names, but they know yours. Every decision is collected and archived somewhere by someone. Vast networks of CCTV cameras have steadily been wired into the towns and cities that we live in, watching our every move without us knowing who is behind them, and now something much worse is happening. Police and private companies are integrating facial recognition software with these cameras so they can tell who is walking in front of the camera. Now Big Brother is not just watching you, but recognizing you and tracking you too. Big Brother Watch is fighting back. We're taking groundbreaking legal action with 2 innocent members of the public who are wrongly accused of being criminals, following facial recognition misidentifications. You can join the fight to stop unprecedented expansion of facial recognition surveillance systems in the UK by heading to the link in the comment section of this video. Number 4, Ministry of Truth. Despite its name, the Ministry of Truth is a state department that manipulates and alters facts and information to serve the interests of the party. It is guided by the principle that he who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the present controls the past. Last year, a Big Brother Watch investigation found that a secretive UK government counter-disinformation unit has been monitoring and recording opposition to government policies on social media, sweeping up the musings of MPs, journalists, leading academics, campaigners, and members of the public in secret disinformation reports. The problem is none of the posts that we saw contained any disinformation whatsoever. In a democracy, politicians, the press, and the public should all be free to scrutinise and criticise the government without their speech being logged in government reports, wrongly smeared as misinformation, or suppressed or censored online. Number 3, thought police. A thought crime in 1984 is the act of thinking outside the limits of what is accepted by the party. The thought police are tasked with stamping this out and cracking down on freedom of thought. Now, more than ever, governments are finding new ways to police dissent through obscure technologies used to cut off financial streams. What we spend our money on can offer deep insight into our most private information, including our political leanings, sexuality, health issues, family issues, charitable deeds, and even the private information of others.
The digital pound would be like an electronic version of the banknotes issued by the Bank of England.
The Treasury and the Bank of England has been pushing for a central bank digital currency, or CBDC, which could allow transactions to be recorded and kept in a core ledger. Anyone with access to the ledger, from public authority to hacker, could access personal, transactional, and identity information. Political activists have also had their bank accounts and revenue streams closed, including WikiLeaks, Nigel Farage, and the Canadian truckers for holding undesirable political opinions. Number 2, Big Brother. Big Brother is the name of the totalitarian leader in 1984. His image is used to create fear and enforce discipline into the population. Big Brother is the guise in which the party chooses to exhibit itself to the world. The emergence of digital ID could have one of the biggest Big Brother surveillance effects on our society in the future. Digital IDs can be misused for mass surveillance, curb people's liberties, predict and shape people's decisions, and be abused for the tracking, targeting, or other differential treatment of ethnic minorities, religious minorities, and other marginalised groups. The databases these systems are tied to are all-knowing. If tied with a facial recognition system, a digital ID would mark a whole new era of surveillance as we know it by getting rid of any form of privacy we have in public life. Not even Orwell could dream of this dystopian future. That's why digital ID must never be mandatory in the UK. Number 1, Newspeak. In 1984, the term Newspeak is used by the regime to restrict freedom of thought and control the population. The language is used to hide the truth by creating false realities which serve to confuse and censor the public. Many forms of authoritarian policies in politics are introduced under the guise of public safety, but in reality, they'll be used for much more state overreach. The UK government's Online Safety Act seeks to regulate social media companies by forcing them to monitor and censor our online speech more than ever. The Act introduces powers that give state backing to big tech's censorious terms and conditions, forces tech companies to scan private conversations by undermining encryption, the technology that safeguards privacy, and forces companies to monitor all of our online communications, risking the privacy of marginalised voices in the process. What is described as being for our own good by those in power could end up coming back to bite us in many unexpected ways. There's a famous saying, 1984 was not supposed to be an instruction manual, yet so much of Orwell's writings ring true today. Big Brother Watch is determined to make 1984 fiction again by fighting back against the extreme surveillance that those in power are hungry for, and by campaigning for a free future where the rights and privacy of individuals are put first. But we are only as strong as the support we receive from people like you. If you share our mission, please become a Big Brother Watch supporter. You can find a link in the description of this video.